Okay, so these are some of the information that you need to absorb, guys. But by next week, we're going to have a very interactive session. So you need to prepare yourself because we will be having online interactive session by next week. Okay, so of course, here with me are our instructors for nursing informatics. We have Sir Sanyo. Please wave to our students. Okay, si Ma'am Sheila Muji, Ma'am Sheila Muji, and Ma'am Campbell. Si Ma'am Campbell po. What's up po si Ma'am Campbell? Okay, so yan. Okay, so again, a pleasant afternoon to everyone. And at this point, so before we start our lecture discussion for this afternoon, let us have a rundown of what are the tasks for the week. Okay, so students, so you might be you might be noticing that every weekend we are posting you reminders at Canvas, located at Canvas announcement. Okay, so about the things that you need to accomplish for the coming week. Okay, and every week for SOST, for nursing informatics, you are going to accomplish five important things. So for example, if you are using your mobile phone, so make sure that you turn on the notification for you to receive our announcement. Okay, so for this week, which is week 3, so the 5 things that you need to accomplish between June 22 to 26 would be: number 1, you need to independently study the following modules: computer software, computer system, OSSF, SFS, and data processing. So OSS pertains to open source software. Okay? So OSS pertains to open source software. And when we say open source software, these softwares are free. FS, other term for that is FS. Some books call them FS, and FS pertains to free software. And of course, we will be tackling data processing later on. Okay. So these are actually basics, guys, no? So but if you have any questions, so you can send us a message at email or at Canvas or at our Facebook sites if you have if you need some sort of clarification. So number 2, you need to attend the synchronous session at Zoom. And for those of you who don't have stable connection, you can view the recording. So please be aware of what we are highlighting, especially during the synchronous sessions, kasi most probably this will appear in your examination. Okay. So I'm very excited for that. So please, just a reminder for our students, use your Fatima email at student@fatima.edu.ph, and please register early. Don't register late because we're having problems approving while the session is ongoing. Okay, so task number 3 is to answer the multiple choice question. So guys, this is some sort of self-assessment question. Don't be afraid, for example, if you didn't get the a high score, okay? So because these are self-assessment questions, right? So majority of your grades will be obtained from the course task. Okay? So that is very clear. So you need to participate in discussion boards at Canvas. So every week we are posting open-ended questions. So make sure that you respond to the open-ended question. So once you you send a response there, it means that you are active. So that replaces your attendance, right? So for the summer. So once you log in at your Canvas and you mention something about what we're asking, what's your opinion. So it means that you logged in and you are active. Okay, you are an active student for nursing informatics. And the most challenging part would be to submit answers to the following questions. Guys, I do understand that for every course unit, you have course tasks there. But we made it simple for you because we understand that you have limited data and you have other courses that you are pursuing for this SOST. So this set of questions that we are posting at the announcement will replace those course tasks that are located in your modules. Okay, so for this week, for example, number 1, so you're going to list down 3 examples of free software, or other term for that would be OSS, open source, or FS, free software, or FLOSS also refers to free, libre, open source software. Okay. Internationally, we call it the FLOSS software, meaning free, slash libre, meaning free, libre, open source software. Okay, libre is not a Tagalog term, guys. Okay, but it also means free. Okay. So list down three examples of free software or application that can be used by nurses in communication and describe how nurses can benefit from this in their workplace. So for example, what are the applications or softwares that you're using to communicate? So very much common, we have the Facebook Messenger, and you can include that because that is free. Another, some of you are using Viber. Is that correct? Yes. So some of you are using, to make it more secure, WhatsApp. Okay, so that would be okay. Some of you are using Telegram. Some of you are using iMessage. And these are actually free. So we just need to mention also how can nurses use this in their workplaces. Okay, so number two, so this is very much exciting. Create an original poster, infographic, or one-page guide on proper etiquette at social networking sites for nurses. Okay, so you can use, of course, your computer applications. You can use your cell phones, or if you don't have applications in your cell phone, you can write, you can draw, you can take a picture and send it to us. So again, we will not be considering, we are considering, of course, the aesthetics, but the most important would be the content. If you're going to create a poster that will tell nurses the proper etiquette at social networking sites, so you're going to create that. And the most exciting would be the third one. Okay, you need to create a 30-second elevator pitch video. So you're going to create a 30-second video, and 30 seconds is very quick, right? A 30-second video, so it will not, of course, eat your data because this is only a 30-second video. So of yourself talking, okay, you need to create a 30-second video of yourself talking as if you are convincing hospital administrators to adopt a hospital information system as a potential replacement for paper-based records. So last time I discussed to you, of course, hospital information system, right? And in some countries, this replaces the patient's chart that are used by nurses that are usually paper-based, right? Okay, so at this point, so for this week, you need to create a 30-second video of yourself talking and convincing, as if convincing hospital administrators to adopt a hospital information system as a potential replacement for paper-based records. And ladies and gentlemen, class, we call that elevator pitch. Okay, so technically we call that elevator pitch. When we say elevator pitch, it refers to quick videos. Okay, kasi ganito yan. So let me tell you about the history of the term elevator pitch. Okay, so imagine yourself, okay, riding an elevator from first floor going to 10th floor. You know that's very quick. It will, for example, from first floor to third floor, that will only entail you around 30 seconds. Then suddenly, when you enter the elevator at the first floor, okay, you met one of your closest friends during high school. So once you ride the elevator, and you will, for example, your last destination, your last stop would be 10th floor, you know you have very limited time. So you're going to tell your long lost classmates, for example, the most important things. Okay, so you will not go around the bush. So you're going to tell him or her the most important things. Okay, regarding the things that you didn't catch up for the past several years. Okay, so as simple as that. You need to create a video. Okay, again, clarification, guys. You don't need to ride an elevator. You don't need to ride an elevator. So we just call it an elevator pitch because the video is very quick. What you're going to do is you're going to create a 30-second video of yourself talking, or as if talking to a hospital administrator to adopt hospital information system as a potential replacement for paper-based records. So for example, you need to convince us. If I am the hospital administrator, what are you going to tell me to convince me to use hospital information system in replacement for the paper-based records? And we know, we discussed that last time. You need to check the video again, uploaded and sent to you. Okay, so what are some of the problems for paper-based records? Sometimes the handwriting of the doctors and nurses are ineligible, right? And it's difficult to uh, to gather in one place. Okay, if others are using it, you cannot use it because the other personnel are using the patient's record, so definitely you can use it. But in terms of hospital information system, once you log in, you can all log in at the same time and access the patient's data. Okay. So for nursing informatics, we created a very easy submission portal. So for all the course tasks that you're going to submit for the whole SOST, you need to visit https://bit.ly/ni course task. Okay, so lahat ng course task nyo hindi sa Canvas. The reason why we chose this for nursing informatics is that because I know some of you students are having problem uploading in Canvas. Okay, so this is much easier because you just need to visit, input your details, and you can upload up to 5 files. Okay, but if everything is summarized into one page, okay lang din. But of course, you have the video. Okay, so you might use 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 uploads. Okay, so we are now checking your outputs, and by next week, you will be receiving your status. Okay, you will be receiving your status as to kumusta kaya yung pinasa namin kay Doc Dino, kumusta kaya yung pinasa namin kay Ma'am Muji, kay Ma'am Campbell, at kay Sir Sanyo. Okay? So something like that. Okay, so at this point, let us now proceed with our discussion. But again, class, while there is discussion on the screen, you can type in your questions and we will be responding live. And if, for example, this session will end, okay, you can always reach out to us. You know what? I have lots of chatmates ngayon sa Facebook, a lot of students clarifying, a lot of students asking assistance, and we do respond to our students. Okay? Wag nga lang beyond 10 p.m. Okay? So with that, so let's now proceed with our discussion. And our first discusser is Ma'am Muji. Ma'am Muji, can you tell something about your discussion for this afternoon? Ma'am, can you please unmute? Okay.
Hello. How are all of you? I hope you're all fine. I'm here to present a video PowerPoint about computer software. Do not just listen, but understand so that you can answer the quiz afterwards. Try to look for clues on topics that were given emphasis. Listen to the rise and fall of my voice. Okay.
Okay. Akala
Thank
ko
you.
rise and fall of the chest eh.
Yes.
CPR tayo eh. Okay. So at this point, so we're going to show the first discussion. Okay. So I'm going to turn off my video first.
Hello everyone. Can you still remember our last topic last week? We had history, then the EHR, and lastly the computer hardware. What can be the difference between computer hardware and computer software? Can you think of examples of software? Let us start with our unit expected outcomes. First, define computer software, then identify the types of software, explain the concept of software packaging and identify common software packages, cite common software considered useful in the practice of the nursing profession, and discuss computer programming and factors related. Let us differentiate. Computer hardware is any physical device used in or with your machine, whereas software is a collection of programming code installed on your computer's hard drive. In other words, hardware is something you can hold in your hand, but software cannot be held in your hand. Can you think of any more differences? Software is a general term for the various kinds of programs used to operate computers and related devices. Software can be thought of as the variable part of a computer. Software requires hardware, which is the physical substrate on which software exists and runs, and hardware is useless without the software. Therefore, a software is a program that enables a computer to perform specific tasks. Then, in a traditional sense, a software package is simply multiple applications or code modules that work together to meet various goals and objectives. One of the most prominent examples is something like the Microsoft Office package, which includes individual applications such as Word, Excel, Access, and PowerPoint. Now, let us discuss the types of computer software. There are two basic types of software, namely system software and application software. The system software is a program that manages and supports the computer resources and operations of a computer system, while it executes various tasks such as processing data and information, controlling hardware components, and allowing users to use application software. That is, system software functions as a bridge between application software and computer systems hardware. So bridge, system, software. Under system software, we have the OS meaning Operating System Graphical User Interface. So the OS or operating system acts as a host for applications that run the machine. As a host, one of the purposes of an operating system is to handle the details of the operation of the hardware, while GUI or Graphical User Interface are computer programs that enables a person to communicate with the computer through the use of symbols, visual metaphors, and pointing devices. Still under system software, we have the utility program. It is designed to enhance the functions of the OS or to add facilities that the basic OS does not offer. It is a program that performs a specific task related to the management and maintenance of computer functions, resources, or files as password protection, memory management, virus protection, and file compression. Other examples are disk defragmenters, application launchers, and web browsers. So the antivirus in your computer is actually a utility program. Then another type of computer software is the application software. These are programs that specify the information processing activities required for the completion of specific tasks of computer users. Under application software, we have the documentation software, which includes word processing software. Writing tasks previously done on typewriters with considerable effort can now be easily completed with word processing software. Wait, have you seen a typewriter? This one? I used it during my college days. Then the spreadsheet, software that permits performance of an almost endless variety of quantitative tasks such as budgeting, keeping track of inventory, preparing financial reports, or manipulating numbers in any fashion. And of course, the presentation software, which organizes a slideshow for an audience including text, graphics, sounds, and movies, which I am using now. Now, putting these three together, we have the Office Suite software, which lays together complete programs of software. A typical suite package might include word processing, spreadsheet, databases, and presentation software. Depending on the jobs that need to be done, the suite provides the tools to make professional-looking documents. Nonetheless, under application software, we have the content access software, which addresses the needs of individuals and groups to consume digital entertainment and publish digital content. These are web browsers, a software application for retrieving, presenting, and traversing information resources on the World Wide Web. www, like Firefox, Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Opera, Safari. Are you familiar with these softwares? These are very useful, right? Then we have the media creation software, which comprises of media players for playing back multimedia files like music, videos, or both. Now, what software do you use for generating animated images by using computer graphics? We call it the animation software. Lastly, the 3D computer graphics software, which are programs used to create 3D computer-generated imagery such as 3ds Max, Maya, SketchUp, Blender. Actually, some of these softwares are not too familiar to me as well, but it will be very fascinating if we'll find out how to use them. Do you know any computer softwares utilized in nursing practice? So the common software used in the nursing practice is the hospital information system, which includes software used by nurses for admission, discharge, and transfer, or the ADT system that help with patient tracking, and medication administration record, or the MAR software. Increasingly, hospitals have added charting software that computerizes at least some parts of the nursing record. In addition, for staff allocation, hospitals may have the computerized patient acuity system, and of course, hospitals do have their own emails. Nurses also utilize common software for communication purposes. Some examples are chat rooms. Chat room technology is synchronous, that is, user can connect in real time even at huge distances. Then of course the social network, which refers to any number of web addresses designed to create online communities. Do you know the most popular social network? Yes, it's Facebook. According to the article from ourworldindata.org last September 2019, with 2.3 billion users, Facebook is the most popular social media platform today. YouTube, Instagram, and WeChat follow, with more than a billion users. Tumblr and TikTok comes next with over 500 million users. Electronic bulletin board is an early form of computer conferencing but still popular nowadays. They may be called discussion boards or electronic forums. Forums can be posted using administrative or user-defined categories. Electronic bulletin board is asynchronous, which means user can post messages at the time of their convenience. Let us have some terminologies before we talk about programming language. So first is program. It means result of expressing the algorithm in a programming language. It is an organized instruction sets. Algorithm is a set of instructions and the order in which they have to be performed. These are the sequence and steps. Programming means the process of writing an algorithm using programming language. And of course, the person writing the set of instructions using programming language would be called the programmer. So a programming language is a means of communicating with the computer. The only language a CPU can understand is binary or machine language. If we would categorize the programming languages, the first level would include machine language, which belongs to low-level programming languages. They are the most basic and can be understood directly by the computer and consist of binary numbers 1 and 0. Next is the assembly language, which are intermediate languages that are very close to machine language and do not have the level of linguistic sophistication exhibited by other high-level languages but must still be translated into machine language. 4. The second level or the high-level procedural languages are programming languages that must first be translated into a machine language before they can be understood and processed by a computer. Some of the common programming languages is Fortran or formula translation. It is first high-level computer language and the progenitor of many key high-level concepts such as variables, expression, statements, iterative and conditional statements, separately compiled, subroutines, and formatted, input, output. Next is COBOL, or Common Business-Oriented Language, which is designed for writing business programs with minimum time and effort. Then the C. It was named after an earlier prototype program called simply B, most popular computer language for writing new OS and other system programs. Lastly, Java, which is high-level programming language developed by the Sun Microsystems. It was originally designed for developing programs for set-top boxes and handheld devices, but later became a popular choice for creating web applications. Do you know what Java stands for? It's just another virtual accelerator. This shows the computer programming steps. First involves identification of the problem, then program design where designing takes place, then writing the code and program preparation. Alpha testing then commences where components are checked to see if all processes appear to be functioning, then the beta testing which involves the installation to actual user environment that signals program implementation. Ready to do some programming? Thank you and good day.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma'am Sheila. And for the next topic, can we hear something from our uh, instructor?
Yes, sir. It's still from me.
Okay, so can you give an overview, Ma'am Sheila?
Yes po. Now for our next video PowerPoint, the topic is computer system. I want you to tell me by typing on the chat which slide did I mention the concept GIGO, G-I-G-O. So that's it Unahan kayo. Okay na, sir.
Okay, sige.
Okay.
Okay, so let's proceed.
Hello everyone again. Let us learn about computer system. But first, our unit expected outcomes, describe a computer system, explain the system's theory, and identify the 6 components of a system. Differentiate open and closed system. Cite examples of information systems utilized in the healthcare field. Discuss the components of hospital information systems. Every functioning computer is a system. That is, it is a complex entity like the human body, consisting of an organized set of interconnected components or functions that perform together as a unit to accomplish results that one part alone could not. System theory provides the conceptual basis for understanding complex entities that consist of multiple interrelated parts working together to achieve a desired result. The key components of system theory are parts, interaction, interdependency, input, output, processing, feedback, and control. In addition, the basic idea behind systems theory is the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. An easy example of this is baking a cake. If you were to lay out all of the ingredients of a cake, you would not have a cake. Instead, you would have the ingredients of a cake. The primary proposition of the theory are the following. A system parts interact in such a way that the parts are interdependent with respect to the system's process. Impingement on one part in a system will produce effects on the system's processes and may produce distortions on other parts of the system. Distortion in one part of a system may be a symptom of a problem in another component. That is called secondary malfunction. Correlation of a malfunctioning part will correct the system functioning only if the malfunction was a primary malfunction and not a secondary malfunction. A system takes an input on which to perform processes. The processes performed by a system on input result in system output. The processes in a system are subject to control forces. Feedback is the key mechanism of control in a system. Effects on the system's processing function will affect the system's output. A system is more than the sum of its parts. If the parts of the system will function independently, the system no longer exists. The functioning of the system is different than the functioning of its separate parts. The output of each separate parts, even if combined, does not equal to the output of the system. When combined into a system, the component parts form an entirely new entity. Therefore, the elements of the system are interdependent parts, interact to conduct process. Input is any feed from the system's external environment. It serves to initiate computer functioning. Process is the activity of the system. Output is any end product or waste produced as a result of the system process. Control refers to any component or activity that serves to prevent or correct problems or errors in a system's input, process, or output. And feedback is used as part of a system's self-regulation function. There are two classification systems: closed system, which has sealed boundaries that are rigid and clearly defined, differentiation, isolation, independence, and self-sufficiency. The other one is the open system, exhibits integration, fluid or fuzzy boundaries, and interaction with environments clearly defined. Boundaries are permeable to external influences rather than sealed against them. Now, we have the information system, or IS. It is a set of people, procedures, and resources that collects, transforms, and disseminate information in an organization. It is a purposefully designed system that brings data, computers, procedures, and people together to manage information, important to an organization's mission. One type of information system is the MIS, or the Management Information System, which generates information for monitoring performance like productivity information. MIS extract, process, and summarize data from the TPS or Transaction Processing System and provide periodic, like weekly, monthly, and quarterly reports to administrators or hospital managers, like nurse managers. Other types are Knowledge Work System, or the KWS. It supports highly skilled, knowledgeable workers in the creation and integration of new knowledge into the company, and it enabled them to test the product without having to build physical prototypes. Then the Office Automation System, or the OAS, support general hospital work for handling and managing documents and facilitating communication. Executive Support System, or the ESS, or Executive Information Systems, EIS, provide a generalized computing and communication environment to senior managers to support strategic decisions. More types are the Transaction Processing System, or the TPS, designed for repeated operations using a fixed list, designed to process routine medical and nursing orders and permit clinicians to update the orders in real time. And a failure in the TPS often means disaster for the organization. Physiologic Monitoring System, or the PMS, used frequently to measure and monitor continuous automatic physiologic findings, which typically consists of several distinct components, including a central station, bedside monitors, and ambulatory telemetry transmitters and receivers. Then the artificial intelligence system attempts to model human reasoning processes, track the accuracy of its predictions and judgments, and alter its own decision-making rules based on new knowledge it generates for itself. And lastly, the natural language system used to recognize and process human speech or voice and or handwriting. Microsoft Amalga Hospital Information System, the new version of Hospital 2000, is a state-of-the-art integrated hospital information system designed to meet the needs of developing and emerging markets. Amalga HIS delivers a complete, agile hospital information system that is flexible, affordable, and intuitive. In the program modules of HIS offers variety of administrative applications. Clinical support programs are increasingly being viewed as the critically important modules in an HIS. First is the semi-clinical modules, which consists of order entry system, and its function is to monitor and sometimes control the flow of patients in a hospital from admission to discharge. Then the order entry results reporting module, or the OE, which is almost always available in all HIS. This enables the staff to enter laboratory, pharmacy, and radiology orders, results, and reports online. Next would be the clinical modules, which consist of charting system. Usually included are the medication reports, admission assessment, shift assessment, special assessments, and some elements of the nursing care plan. Then the point of service system, or the POS, which are special type of clinical system that uses handheld or bedside PC to ensure that the data are entered at the point at which they are collected. Then, of course, the laboratory, pharmacy, and radiology modules, which shows laboratory, pharmacy, and radiology data. Some are equipped with warnings and standards for comparison and critical assessment. So there you have it, the computer system, which actually consists of a combination of components that were discussed previously: the hardware, the software, and the user. Us. Got it? Guys, okay? Thank you.
Emoji?
Hello, thank you.
Okay, so is there someone who typed in the GIGO?
That's the last slide. I said, got it? Guys, okay? That's Jigo.
Okay. But in computer terms, we called it the garbage in,
Yes.
garbage out. Okay. So Ma'am Sheila mentioned something about um, computer systems, right? And I think as nurses, one of the most common na usually we see at the hospital is yung tinatawag nating hospital information system, and of course, patient monitoring system, just like this one. Okay, so this was a picture that was taken, an open source picture from a website. So it shows us a patient monitoring system. And when we say system, so every component should be working well. For example, part of the system is the monitor. Part of the system are the softwares that are installed in the computer. Part of the system is the keyboard. And of course, you have, as you can see here at the chest of the patient, there are some electrodes attached, right? So some of you, how many of you nagpa-ECG na before? Nakapagpa-ECG na ba kayo before? Okay, so at this point, let me see your faces, guys. Okay, so you can turn on your videos. Okay, you can turn on your videos. Okay, so some of you has undergone the ECG, no? So this is one excellent example of what we call patient monitoring system. So here in the Philippines, we see a lot of patient monitoring system at the ICU and the emergency room. Okay. So one of the most common is what we call the ECG, or the electrocardiogram. And sometimes it is also known as the cardiac monitor because it actually assess or evaluates the functioning of the heart and of course the lungs. And the process on how nurses or healthcare provider use computers to monitor the heart and lung function of the client are most commonly known as the cardiac monitoring. Okay, so at this point, let me show to you one of the screens of a physiologic monitoring system. Okay, so this is very much familiar to you guys. This is the simulated cardiac monitor, an example of a patient physiologic monitoring system. So you can see these guys usually kapag for example at telenovelas, at movies, no? So if a patient is critically ill, no? So beside the bedside, so makita natin yung monitor na to. So this can assess or this can evaluate the vitals of the patient, those most important vitals of the patient. So this machine can evaluate how by attaching different kinds of lead. So hindi siya magfa-function na ilalagay mo lang siya dun sa tabi ng bedside. So what happens is that the nurse or the healthcare provider should attach some sort of electrodes or leads dun sa katawan ng pasyente. Okay. So some of you are very much bothered on what are this, no, what the numbers will mean. Okay? So for example, we have the ECG tracing and you're very much familiar with that. It tells us the heart rate, we have the different pressures, we have the capnography. So we will be discussing this pagdating natin ng fourth year in critical care. But as of now, I would like you to see how a monitor of a physiologic monitoring system looks like or a patient monitoring system looks like. Okay. So again, so for this system to work, you need to attach some sort of electrodes or rods dun sa chest ng ating patient. And for the usual, okay, so it actually depends on the manufacturer. We have lots of types of ECG. Sometimes they attach 16, sometimes they attach 18, sometimes they attach 9. But during emergency situations, they are only using the 3-lead ECG system and the 5-lead ECG system. Why? Because it is very easy to attach to the patient. Very minimal number of electrodes that you need to attach to the patient. Okay, so these are the two most common during emergencies. Okay, 3-lead ECG system and 5-lead ECG system. So meaning, if you are the nurse and you don't know how to attach this one, the physiologic monitoring system will not work. Okay? So for the computer to work, for the physiologic monitoring system to work, you need to properly attach this leads to the patient. Because sabi nga ni Ma'am Muji rin sabi mo kanina about the system, kailangan working lahat ng components. Right? Okay. So at this point, so let's make it medyo i-stretch natin yung ating mga muscles at this point. I'm going to teach you we're going to teach you on how you can attach the leads to your client. Okay, punta muna tayo dun sa first one, the 3-lead ECG system. When we say 3-lead ECG system, you need to attach 3 leads or electrodes to your client. And what are the colors of the electrodes? So you have your white, your black, and red. So where do you need to place the white electrodes? So you need to place it on the right side or left side of the patient. Left upper chest or right upper chest. So that is right. Okay, so guys, can you turn on your microphones now? Okay, can you turn on your microphones? Okay, so that I can hear you. Okay, so guys, so where should you place the white electrodes? Kasi color-coded yan eh. Color-coded yan. So you need to attach the electrode, the may wire, going to the physiologic monitoring system. Okay, so the white colored electrode should be attached at the right or left?
Right.
Right. Very good. Right upper. How about the black?
Left.
Left.
Left upper. How about red?
Upper left.
Left lower.
Left lower. Very good. Okay, so for you to be able to memorize that, we have some sort of a riddle. Okay? So when I was a nursing student, this is what I'm always thinking whenever I attach electrodes. Okay, listen to this, guys. White on the right, smoke
White on the
observe
right.
mild. Okay. So white on the right,
Right.
Smoke
Smoke over fire.
Very good. Okay. So when you say white on the right, you're going to place the white electrodes on the right. When you say smoke over fire, so on the other side, when we say smoke, what's the color of the smoke? Black.
Black.
So it's on the other side. And how about the fire? It's color red. So smoke over fire, meaning the fire should be below. Okay? So again, tatayo ako, magti-TikTok ako sa inyo guys. Okay. So white on the right, smoke over fire. Pero syempre hindi ako papayag. Ma'am Moji, Ma'am Sir Sanyo, okay, please help. Okay. Yan. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So, white on the right, smoke over fire. Again, white, black, red. What's the color of smoke? Black. Okay, smoke over fire meaning the fire should be below the smoke. Okay. So at this point, so let us now listen to Ma'am Campbell. Ma'am Campbell, do you have an introduction to your...
But before I proceed with the presentation alone, so let me just ask you if you have heard Mozilla Firefox.
Yes.
Yes. How about Android?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So do you have that they have something in common? Hindi, di ba? But then after the presentation, you would be able to know. Hello. I am Melanie S. Campbell, and I'm going to discuss open source, free software, and data processing under nursing informatics and healthcare policy. The objectives for this session: at the end of this lecture, the students are expected to understand the basic concepts of open source software and free software, differentiate open source software and free software, identify roles of open source software and free software in the healthcare field, and understand database as to definition, classification, model, and operation. According to Anderson and Dare, in 2009, it is estimated that worldwide, over 350 million people use open source software products, and thousands of enterprises and organizations use open source code. Free and open source software are increasingly recognized as a reliable alternative to proprietary products. Most nurses use open source and free software on a daily basis, often without even realizing it. Everybody who sends an email or uses the web uses open source softwares or free softwares most of the time, as the majority of the hardware and software that allows the internet to function, such as web servers, file transmission protocol servers, and mail systems, are open source softwares or free softwares. The basic characteristics of free software, as defined by its creator and leading advocate Richard Stallman, is that the user is free to make decisions on the use of the software code. Free software is seen in terms of liberty rather than price. It is described in terms of the user's freedom to run, copy, distribute, study, change, and improve the software. More precisely, it refers to 4 kinds of freedom for the users of the software. With free software, the users are free to use the program for any purpose. The users are free to examine the software to see how it works. The users are also free to distribute the program to others. And lastly, users are free to improve the program. Open source, as defined by Bruce Perens in the Open Source Initiative, is very similar to free software. The main underlying concept is that open source does not just mean access to and free use of the source code. The distribution terms of open source software must comply with the following criteria. First, free redistribution. The license shall not restrict any party from selling or giving away the software as a component of an aggregate software distribution containing programs from several different sources. The license shall not require a royalty or other fee for such sale. Second, source code. The program must include source code and must allow distribution in source code as well as compiled form. Where some form of a product is not distributed with source code, there must be a well-publicized means of obtaining the source code for no more than a reasonable reproduction cost, preferably, like downloading via the internet without any charge. The source code must be the preferred form in which a programmer would modify the program. Deliberately complicating or concealing source code is not allowed. Intermediate forms such as the output of a preprocessor or translator are not allowed. Third, derived works. The license must allow modifications and derived works and must allow them to be distributed under the same terms as the license of the original software. Fourth, integrity of the author source code. Encouraging lots of improvement is a good thing, but users have a right to know who is responsible for the software they are using. Authors and maintainers have reciprocal right to know what they are being asked to support and protect their reputations. Accordingly, an open source license must guarantee that source be readily available, but may require that it can be distributed as pristine base sources plus patches. In this way, unofficial changes can be made available but readily distinguished from the base source. Fifth, no discrimination against persons or group. The license must not discriminate against any person or group of persons. In order to get the maximum benefit from the process, the maximum diversity of persons and groups should be equally eligible to contribute to open sources. Therefore, any open source license is prohibited from locking anybody out of the process. No discrimination against fields of endeavor. The license must not restrict anyone from making use of the program in a specific field of endeavor. For example, it may not restrict the program from being used in a business or from being used for genetic research. The major intention of this clause is to prohibit license traps that prevent open source from being used commercially. 7. Distribution of license. The rights attached to the program must apply to all to whom the program is redistributed without the need for execution of an additional license by those parties. This clause is intended to forbid closing up software by indirect means such as requiring a non-disclosure agreement. 8. License must not be specific to a product. The rights attached to the program must not depend on the programs being part of a particular software distribution. If the program is extracted from that distribution and used or distributed within the terms of the program's license, all parties to whom the program is redistributed should have the same rights as those that are granted in conjunction with the original software distribution. This clause forecloses yet another class of license traps. The license must not restrict other software. The license must not place restrictions on other software that is distributed along with the licensed software. For example, the license must not insist that all other programs distributed on the same medium must be open source software. Distributors of open source software have the right to make their own choices about their own software. And last, the license must be technology neutral. No provision of the license may be predicated on any individual technology or style of interface. This provision is aimed specifically at licenses which require an explicit gesture of agreement in order to establish a contract between licensor and licensee. Provisions mandating so-called click-wrap may conflict with important methods of software distribution, and such provisions may also hinder code reuse. Open source software and free software exist to common well-known applications. The following are some of these familiar window-based applications and their category of usage. Mozilla Firefox is an OSS/FS graphical web browser designed for standards compliance and with a large number of browser features. This premier free open-source browser is considered by many to be the world's best browser. Miro is a video player and podcasting tool and has a beautiful interface and plays any video type much more than Windows Media Player. Pigeon is an instant messenger connecting to multiple instant messaging accounts simultaneously in a single application, including America Online, Instant Messaging, MSN, and Jabber. Mozilla Thunderbird is an electronic mail client with powerful spam filtering, solid interface, and all the features needed by sophisticated nurses. Cabos is a peer-to-peer file sharing application with simple, easy-to-use file sharing program by the Nutella network. OpenOffice.org is a big, full-featured suite of tools for word processing and spreadsheet. It is compatible with and a free replacement for Microsoft Word documents. This also supports open document format. GIMP is a photo editor, a photo editing application that rivals Photoshop in features. It is suggested that in healthcare, that the development of open source software and free software could provide much more needed competition to the current relatively closed market of commercial proprietary software. OSS/FS could also solve many of the problems that healthcare information systems are currently facing. Common OSS/FS healthcare applications are as follows. We have OpenEHR. The OpenEHR Foundation is an international nonprofit organization that is working toward the development of interoperable lifelong electronic health records. FreeMed is a flagship product of the FreeMed Software Foundation as a result of many years of work in developing OSS/FS electronic medical record and billing system, which focuses on the needs of the healthcare team. Care2X, one of the few OSS/FS projects to have been originated by a surgical nurse Elpidio Latorilla. It aims to develop a practical integrated healthcare information system and is designed to integrate the different information systems into one single efficient system. OpenEMR is a free, open-source medical clinic practice management and her application. It offers a range of functions including practice management features for patient scheduling and patient demographics. Online EMR's prescription writing capability with ability to email and print prescriptions and ability to generate files for electronic billing. The noble deed on development and exploration on the use of open source software and free software in the healthcare field were initiated by numerous organizations. The Open Source Healthcare Alliance, or OSHCA, is the oldest of the organizations, having been formally established in the summer of 2000 at a meeting in Rome, Italy. It holds annual conferences and has email discussion lists open to anyone interested in supporting the aims and work of the organization and is on current website upgrade. International Medical Informatics Association, or IMEA, was established in October of 2002 that aims to work both within IMEA and through encouraging joint work with other OSS/FS organizations to explore issues around the use of OSS/FS within healthcare and health informatics. Special Interest Group in Nursing Informatics, or IMEA-NI, is the first nursing organization to establish a group dealing with OSS/FS issues, established June 2003. The aims of IMEA-NI working group including leading in informing the nursing profession worldwide about the potentials of OSS/FS and examining some claims, developed recommendation, and creative solution. Healthcare organizations need to process a rapidly growing amount of information. Nurses, as partners in the healthcare field, are continually collecting data. The data are organized and process producing information about the client's needs and potential interventions. Using an extensive nursing knowledge database, the information is interpreted. There are two primary approaches in classifying data. Conceptual data types is a classification based on how data will be used. This can also be based on the source of the data. Example, laboratories will produce lab data, while X-ray department will produce image data. Computer-based data types are classification based on computerized data type and can be grouped into three. The alphanumeric, which includes letters and numbers in any combination but cannot perform numeric function. Example would be hospital numbers and memo numbers. Numeric is a data used to perform numeric functions as adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. It can be a long integer, a currency, or a scientific data. Examples, date and time. Logic are data that are limited to two options. Examples, data answerable by yes or no, true or false, 1 and 2, and on and off. Within a database management system, there are two basic data types. The first one is a data file. This data file, which contain data that have been captured and stored on a computer using a software program. The extension of the file identifies the software used to create the file. Example, if Microsoft Word was used to save a document, a .doc or .doc extension will be seen following the file name. Same with the Microsoft PowerPoint. A .ppt or .ppt extension will appear after the file name. Then comes the processing files. These are executable program or set of instructions that, when executed, causes a computer to open or start a specific computer program. Example, running a setup.exe file will tell the computer to begin installing a program. Next is the classification of files, which is classified into two, database models and database operations. For database models, we have one-to-one, meaning a single data element in relation to singular data element. Example, an individual medication order. For one-to-many, a single data element related to more than one data element. An example, an individual medication order with multiple doses. And many-to-many, multiple data elements related to set of data element. Example, the number of healthcare providers to the number of patients. While for the database operations, we have input, wherein there is an entry, update, and modification of data. While for process, there is the conversion of data in meaningful operations, and the output includes online and written reports. The basic concepts of database are not unique and have great impact to nursing. The concept for understanding such impact is presented in the Data to Wisdom continuum of Abbott and Goodwin. The continuum begins with the raw data. As data are named, collected, and organized, it becomes information. By discovering the meaningful facts and information and the relationship between facts, knowledge base is built. By understanding knowledge and implications, nurses are able to manage a wide range of healthcare problems of clients. Usually, data are raw, uninterrupted facts without any meaning. For example, the following series of numbers are data with no meaning: 38, 116, 58, 68, and 18. Reordered and labeled as vital signs, they have meaning and now represents information. Temperature, 37. Pulse, 58. Respirations, 18. And blood pressure, 106/68. This data provides information on a person's basic condition. Using the nurse's knowledge, this information is then interpreted. The nurse fits this data into a pattern of prior knowledge about vital signs. For example, if these vital signs were recorded as part of a physical for a high school athlete, they are in the normal range. However, if these same numbers were part of an assessment on an elderly patient with congestive heart failure, the low pulse and blood pressure could suggest a problem. Context and pattern knowledge allow the nurse to understand the meaning and importance of those data and to make decisions about nursing actions with regards to the information. While data by themselves are meaningless, information and knowledge by definition are meaningful. When the nurse uses knowledge to make appropriate decisions and acts on those decisions, he or she exhibits wisdom. In other words, the nurse demonstrates wisdom when the nurse synthesizes and appropriately uses a variety of knowledge types within nursing actions to meet the human needs. To summarize, free software is described in terms of the users' freedom to run, copy, distribute, study, change, and improve the software, while open source software is a type of computer software in which source code is released under a license in which the copyright holder grants users the rights to study, change, and distribute the software to anyone and for any purpose. While for data processing, the continuum begins with data having the raw facts. As the data are named, collected, and organized, data become information. By discovering the meaningful facts in the information and the relationship between the facts, a knowledge base is built. By understanding the knowledge and the implications of that knowledge, nurses are able to manage a wide range of human health problems and is termed as wisdom. Thank you for listening. Good day.
So we are now ready to end our session for this evening na, from late afternoon to evening. So guys, again, we would like to remind you that you have some tasks that you need to accomplish. So the deadline would be on Saturday. So that is 12 noon. Okay, then after that, by next week, we will be having another session, an interactive session. Then we will be giving you some updates on how you are faring in terms of nursing informatics. Okay. So with that, guys, thank you very much and enjoy your dinner.